Café and Networking Podcast promotes successful business experts. I'm Tom Reaoch, known as the King of Networking, connecting people throughout the world from my podcast studio in Brazil. Today we talk with Chris Lalomia, an entrepreneur and change leader, joining us from Atlanta, Georgia. Chris is the owner of The Trusted Toolbox, Home Services and Renovations, president of the Home Service Institute, podcast host at the Small Business Safari, and author of From the Zoo to the Wild, now available on Amazon. So Chris, what is the Vanity line versus the Sanity line?
Well, I'm glad you asked that, Tom. When I went to start my business, The Trusted Toolbox here in Atlanta, providing handyman services and eventually and today doing remodeling as well for bathrooms and kitchens. As I grew and I scaled my business, I was always focused on scaling the right way and scaling with right processes. But as I found out, my vanity line is what do we measure scaling with? And that is top line revenue. That's my vanity line.
Where's the money?
There's the money. But then you have to start paying everybody and paying for supplies and paying for people and paying for advertising. And what's left over is your sanity line. So my vanity line was looking very good. Over 15 years now in business, I've been up and down in my sanity while my vanity has continued to grow. And I've been fortunate to grow my business through a recession, grow my business through the pandemic. To be where we are today. In 15 years, I've only had 2 years where my vanity line did not grow, but my sanity line has bounced around from very little to sometimes a pretty good year. And so that's the sanity line. So you're out there, and a lot of times people ask, as you scale your business, what should you be focused on? Well, in the beginning, you're focused on cash flow and making that sale. And then over time, you really have to be focused on knowing your numbers and understanding your operational processes and finding out where your financial levers are so that you can always monitor your sanity line. And I wish I was better at my sanity line, like many of us probably do, but my vanity line is what I tell people when I'm out networking and talking with other people as well.
But I can see that, and I can see as I mentioned, you have a number of rods in the fire. To keep the vanity line growing, obviously it's more and more energy. The competition's out there. People are looking and trying to find different things, right? And more competition every day. So you really can't get away from one and you can't get to the other.
Exactly right. I'm focused on always trying to grab more market share. Here in Atlanta, we have 5.5 million people in the metro Atlanta area. Now, all of those are not my target market. I'm looking for people own their single family homes. They're usually single family and detached homes here in Atlanta. I'm in a fortunate market where a lot of people are moving here. So grabbing more market share every year is what we're focused on, but making sure we're grabbing the market share in the niche that we serve the best. Even though we're a handyman and a remodeling company, that's a pretty broad swath, and you want to be able to find your niche and find where you're going to be the best at it. And that's where the sanity line starts to play out. But unfortunately, I have chased a lot of vanity lines and sometimes haven't found the sanity I was looking for in the bottom line numbers or what I was looking to bring home.
No, but what you mentioned is important. We need to be the best at what we do. Because when somebody goes into Google and searches for anything, they're not looking for the second best. They're looking for the best. They're looking for number one. And really part of the vanity, you need to keep yourself really floating, and you got to be up there.
Absolutely right. I think we know now that at least 87% of all people out there search on Google to find a home service provider and determine if that person is going to be somebody or that company will be somebody that can help them with their home service need. And to be up there, you have to be a robust company. You have to have good SEO, but you also have to be able to provide good services. And we do know that obtaining Google reviews, and right now we're at 640 Google reviews, where my closest competitor here in the metro Atlanta market is only 200.
Well, I would say that's the name of the game. I looked at your site and I was impressed really from what you do, let's say in home renovation. It seems very simple, but you highlighted very prominently at the beginning, you show up. If somebody calls, you answer, and you show up on the time that you said you would, which more and more is a rarity.
And it is amazing and probably astounding to people who listen to this is that when people call and ask you to provide a service and you don't even call back,
Right.
That's just amazing to me that you would actually put your shingle out there, start a business, and not actually engage with customers to get that ultimate sale. And we've heard that even this last month alone. I will tell you the number one thing that we've heard is, wow, thank you so much for calling us back and returning our call. You're one of 3 companies that we contacted, and you're the only one who called us back.
No, that's not only Atlanta. That's worldwide. That's everywhere. That's here in Brazil, the same thing. And I'm always amazed that, you send out a request. Could you be calling? You can send up an email or anything. Try to engage, and there's no return.
It is, again, just astounding that we do that. And sometimes guilty here when we get very busy, which is the springtime where people are really looking at their homes and calling for service, we can get overwhelmed as well. But we've always been focused on the customer service, which is why I have 4 ladies answering the phones at my office, making sure we get those phone calls. And then as soon as we are done having a little coffee and talking about this, I'm going to be going out there and doing estimates with one of my sales guys, looking at bathrooms and so we go out there and actually provide that service to get that estimate to them.
So it's real face-to-face. Now to your podcast, The Small Business Safari. I see that's not another switch, but you're talking about the safari, and then your book is From the Zoo to the Wild. Is it all jungle out there?
It is a jungle out here. Running your own business in the small business world. I'm a corporate refugee. I was in the zoo. I was very, I wouldn't say content. I always wanted to start my own business, but I had a lot of success in the corporate America, and I was able to scale up pretty well and provide for my family and have a great job. But I realized I was in the zoo, and when I got out into this wild world of the jungle, I've been rumbling, bumbling, stumbling, trying to figure out where my niche is and what I can do to provide service. And it's a wild world out here running your own business, but I've loved it. It's been fun. Now there's been a lot of deep, dark moments as well as you run your own business. Right. You run into some things, but that's why I go with From the Zoo to the Wild is my book on Amazon. And then the Small Business Safari are for people who may be thinking about making that leap to running their own business and what it takes to plan for it. And then if you have your own business, how do you scale it and scale it right?
Right. And that comes from a real person that's in real business and has real failure and success, right?
Absolutely. Highlight on failure and success.
Very good, Chris. I want to thank you for your time. I know you're in a rush to get out and help a client, but thanks for sharing your information and your experience with us.
All right. Well, thank you. I've enjoyed my time with you guys. Let's go make it a great day, everybody.
Very good. So for our listeners, you can find more information about Chris Lalomia, and it's C-H-R-I-S. The last name is L-A-L-O-M-I-A. Find him on LinkedIn. You find him on his site, thetrustedtoolbox.com. You'll find the podcast at safaripodcast.com. And you'll find the book From the Zoo to the Wild on Amazon, right?
Absolutely.
Very good. So thanks again.
All right. Thank you, Tom.
Café Networking is brought to us by Focus MI Market Intelligence, an agricultural market research specialist in Brazil. More information about them at their site, focusmi.com. Thanks for listening until the next time here at Café and Networking Podcast.